What's up, everybody? Today, I have an Ironman, a triathlete, Brad Pierce. I'm so excited to have you here. And as a dear friend of mine, you are married to one of the most wonderful women on the planet, Jenny Wren. So, Jenny Wren, if you're watching this, I hope you get to share with your friends. So, Brad, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and where you are now?
Yeah. Thanks for the intro. I haven't seen you in so long. Carolina used to live in Kentucky and moved away, so we haven't seen each other since you lived here. So glad we could catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, where am I at now? So to catch people up to speed as fast as possible, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. Flipped sneakers all through middle school, had a car detailing business in high school, apparel manufacturing company early in college, sold that, and then started Loud Lux, which is still operating today, over 8 years in business, which is crazy. And that's a
So,
film production company. We did a lot of different stuff in the beginning, but now really going heavy into commercial production. It's a great business, but I'm also an Ironman guy, as Carolina kind of
woohoo!
talked about it.
How
The
many
crazy
Ironmans
side of
have you
me.
done, by the way? Because I feel like you're always training for something.
Yeah, I'm not doing any Ironmans this year, just a marathon, not just a
Oh,
marathon, but I'm 4 weeks in Chicago, so that'll be a lot of fun.
cool.
Uh, I've done 6 Ironman branded races between
And how old are
twenty
you?
21, 27.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, so I had a crazy stretch for about 3.5 years where
Wow,
I just went all in on Ironman
so
triathlon,
cool.
and it taught me a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah. So then that tied in Ironman world is I got connected there. I need to figure out how to fuel my body. Had a couple really bad training days, and got connected to a group that just educated me on the longevity industry and fell in love with it and wanted to be involved. And then fast forward now, what is it, 5.5 years later, we have Human Sync, and it has been operating. As one of the top longevity medicine clinics. So pretty incredible.
The past year and a half, I really have learned how our emotions and our bodies are just intertwined and like
Yeah.
really you can't have one without the other. And so the main goal of this podcast is that most of the change in my life started with a conversation. And I think for the listener, I would love just to hear your story on what inspired you to do Human Sync and why Human Sync now in 2025.
Yeah. So Human Sync started because really I saw a massive gap in how health is managed. And I'm sure you see this too, is the system is very reactive based. It
Yeah,
waits until you get sick and then throws most of the time prescription at you.
right.
So I knew we had to flip the script. It was
Yeah.
very simple. Like that was the one thread. So my idea is, you know, if you had somebody acting in business terms, if you had somebody acting like your chief health officer, a
Yeah.
quarterback for your health,
Mhm.
someone who not only runs advanced testing, but also would orchestrate your entire health strategy, all the way down to the key systems in your body for brain, heart, immune, metabolic. Maybe they manage your training, your sleep, your stress, your nutrition, your supplements, your whole lifestyle,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
The spark came from my own journey as an Ironman guy, as an Ironman triathlete. I realized that, if you can imply the same precision that
Mhm.
gets everyone across an Ironman finish line,
Yeah.
you can help execute or help an entrepreneur, an executive extend their health span and live longer
Yeah.
and be high performing for much longer as well in life. So that was kind of the spark is the Ironman world, but I knew that we had to flip the script from reactive to proactive based
Yeah.
care.
So, have you gotten tested within the company? What was that look like for you? What did you find out with doing all of this?
Gosh, what have I found out? I could go on for a lot of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I go through the program myself, and my co-founder was actually a coach at a company that I was a patient at.
Cool.
I have ApoE44 gene. I think that's the negative side of what I have. So what that is I have a high increase in likelihood of Alzheimer's disease and neurodegenerative diseases.
Wow.
So
Okay.
what I'm thinking about right now is like, how can I make sure that those genes don't turn on, or if they do, can we make sure that I really slow the bleed? So a lot
Yeah.
of a lot of brain health focus. But also I'm still competing. Like I said, I have a marathon in 5 weeks. I'm trying to PR at. So I'm really into the optimization right now around stress and recovery. How can I manage my training load and also absorb the hard training sessions the best that I can?
So you're definitely on a daily basis taking supplement. Is there any lifestyle that you had to adjust even for training and still performing on a very high level?
Yeah, I mean, again, like another great topic I
Yeah.
could go deep on. I have a bunch of non-negotiables, and I know that we're going to get into this, but Sleep and training, supplements are great. Of course, I take supplements. There's some times in my life where I don't take supplements, just do kind of a cleanse twice a year. But they obviously improve levels. Like if you take vitamin D, your vitamin D is going to go up. There's certain formulas there. Then there's some supplements that I think are give and take, or work for some people better than others, or some
Mm-hmm.
people can absorb them better. But sleep and training are my two non-negotiables.
Okay.
If those two things slip in my life, I notice it everywhere.
Wow.
So sleep is really my foundation. It's my
Okay.
non-negotiable. My closest friends will tell you, like, Brad is not going to get up at 5 a.m. more than twice a week to go hit a run because he prioritizes his sleep. And that's
Yeah.
probably why he's able to have a lot of great training sessions during the week, because he's not forcing his body to operate off of 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So sleep is the foundation, and the training is what keeps me sharp. And
Mm-hmm.
those two are not optional. They're really the anchors, and that's what keeps me consistent
I love
even
that.
when life and business gets chaotic. Like, those are the foundational points that I know are unwavering, and really anchor me and ground me.
Yeah, while you were talking, I just had this flashback on whenever Jenny and I live at the lake and you had this bike. I remember you bought this training bike into the room, and Jenny was all like, "Why are we having this thing in
Yeah.
here?" Because you're just so dedicated,
Yeah.
like doing it and like keeping your goals. So, segueing to saying that, when did you realize that your philosophy for health and wellness was such a big part of your life?
It was probably training for my first Ironman. I had already pushed hard, setting the stage. I already pushed hard in business and a couple other aspects of my life.
Mhm.
But when I dove into Ironman in 2019, 2020, it forced me really to rethink my entire life. Time
Okay.
management,
Wow.
what is a priority,
Mhm.
sleep, nutrition, recovery, the importance of mindset. I cannot emphasize this enough. The importance of mindset. It
Mhm.
forced me to really get myself in a positive mindset to be able to take on some of these sessions
Yeah, I love
day in
that.
and day out. And I started training 11 months out from my race.
Wow.
So this is a long, long training block. So I started to realize that health isn't just about one race, it's about the daily discipline of
Mhm.
waking up every day and having great habits that align with your values and your priorities in life. So
Yeah.
the Ironman shifted my lens from short-term wins, which again build momentum, which is incredible,
Yeah.
but to building a body and a mind that can sustain these challenging days over and over again,
Yes.
and mentally and physically thinking about high performance for decades. So, it taught me the same discipline that will get me through a 20-mile mark in the marathon and Ironman applies to
Yeah.
how I'm going to run my life and how I'm going to run my health.
I love that. That's great. Pivoting back to human sync, when did you realize that the concept, like, hey, this is working for people? Was it your first year? How did you realize more people need more of this?
So the moment when, let's just say, it's probably coming to my head right now, is one of our first clients started having a lot of success. He had enough success in the first 3 months that he started referring people in. And that was an aha moment for us. Like, wow, this is really working. And we didn't incentivize him in any way to get people involved to refer patients in, but he just wanted the people around him to have the same success with their health that he was having. And that was a big impact on us. Also, just having our clients come back and saying, I feel better. And not just saying that, but also showing the data that proved it. Blood markers reversed, body composition improved, performance scores jump. That was really the turning point for a lot of our patients so far. So, you can't really argue with numbers and results. Seeing people who are already successful in business finally feel like they had clarity with their health, and their health was the proof, and that human sync was no longer just an idea, but it was actually a solution.
That's so cool. I love to hear that. That's awesome. So, what's the different approach that from other like wellness programs? Like, what do you
Sure.
guys do differently? I'm sure you had to study the market and all of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We have a whole market analysis, spent a lot of time on this. And luckily, my co-founder has been a part of 6 or 5 different clinics. I've been a patient at a bunch of different clinics. So most programs and most clinics out there start with, either if they're very entry level, they start with a surface level hack. Like, we're going to do cold plunge, we're going to do sauna, we're going to do red light. And those are great things, but they're not going to shift you from disease to no disease in your future. The next level is a lot of people just do testing. There's a lot of clinics that give you incredible testing data, and there's not a knock on it. There's so much good testing data out there. So you think of a clinic like Fountain Life, you go in, you do a full day of testing, you get, I don't know how many different data points, but a ton of different data points, and then they leave you with a binder. There's also hormone clinics. So clinics that you go in, you just get hormones done, and that's pretty much the whole extent of their model and their testing. So
Yeah.
that's what's out there right now. The difference between what we do is we are not a testing company. We
Mm,
offer the same tests that are out there that everybody else offer, and not everybody's offering the same test, but we go above and beyond. We have access to over 100 different tests, but our really value add is on the back end. It's the care. So we give you a system, and think of it like a playbook. So everything from genetics, the daily habits, structured in a way that you can actually execute on this data.
okay.
So the big difference that we have on top of that is accountability. So you don't just get the information from the testing. We will guide you one on one, or I won't, but a certified, board certified health coach will. And then we optimize all the key systems in the body so that you can age disease free and feel great now.
Love
So
that.
that's how you really create transformation and not just temporary motivation around
Right.
hormones or quick fixes.
Right.
And a big issue, which we can get into, is like there's a big problem in the market.
Hmm.
There is so much data out there now, and you can find supporting papers to back every single test on why it's the best. But there's so much data that it's actually leading to inaction. People are overwhelmed by the data and the information
Yeah.
that people are not getting healthier,
Wow.
even with
Yeah.
all the incredible data that we have out there today.
Right. Wow. Yeah, that's so true. And even just thinking, not getting into the whole GLP-1 stuff, but people just rather what you just say, they're so overwhelmed. They try so many different supplements, diets. I just appreciate the accountability side, and just walking somebody through that. I think it's very important because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, and we aren't anti-prescription. Like,
Right.
obviously, GLP-1's a really hot one on the market right now. Some people, it's great. Like, I gotta say, if you are an example is if somebody's 300 pounds and they are
Yeah.
pretty stuck on they are not going to change their lifestyle,
Right. Right.
it's better than nothing,
Yeah.
because insulin resistance has caused a
Hmm.
lot of problems in the human body.
Yeah.
Um, Other things like hormones and peptides, like we love hormones, but we also take a foundational and a root cause approach is let's see what we can do through lifestyle first. And what can
Yes.
we do naturally through the body first before we jump to hormones
I
as
love
an
that.
option? It's not a
I love
first
that.
approach. Same with
Right.
prescriptions. You have all the different kinds of anxiety and depression medications, you have
Yeah.
blood pressure medications, like you name it. We're not
Right.
against any of that. We just want to see what is possible through foundations first.
Yeah.
So lifestyle change and environment change and habit change. And let's see these little shifts naturally happen in the body. And if we're making progress, why do we necessarily need to hop on a prescription right away?
Yeah.
If we've tried everything under the sun and we can't get some of this stuff to move, then let's look at bringing in a prescription, not only any prescription, but let's do a pharmacogenomics test and figure out what your body best absorbs prescription wise and what is going to utilize best.
Yeah, I think that's a great point that you mentioned because what I came to find out, I actually worked for an integrative doctor in Tampa, and she changed my life. Very, very root cause, and told me like very what you were talking about, like very basic thing, like what's already in your lifestyle right now that can help your body heal. Your body
Mhm.
wants to heal. What will be my first step to get involved in Human Sync?
Yeah, to finish on the supplement topic, like supplements are a great tool,
Mm-hmm.
but supplements will not fix bad sleep, and they will not fix not exercising, no movement. They
Yeah,
won't fix a bad diet.
yeah.
They won't fix chronic stress. Like
Mm-hmm.
these are foundational pieces that we have to take accountability for.
Yeah.
Sure, supplements can aid in a lot of this stuff, and I think
Mm-hmm.
we challenge a lot of the supplement takes out there on the market. Some people may actually be better taking no supplements at all, just giving the body time to rest and reset,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to get as much as we can through diet alone. But sure, there are great supplements. I still take supplements.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, what humans think kind of your first 90 days looks like is we go through a really extensive onboarding. Is you would come on and have a deep conversation with your coach, and instead of just handing over a questionnaire saying, fill this out on what
Right.
prescriptions you're taking, what's medical history look like. They sit down and just talk about you and everything going on outside of you and your lifestyle. So what's your diet like? What's nutrition like? What's exercise like? Um, what is sleep looking like? What's work-life balance? How is your environment around you? What's stress levels?
Yeah.
What are the different triggers that have gone on in your life that got you to where you are today? Was it a pay raise? Was it a divorce? What are these markers? Was it a broken arm in college that stopped you from
Right.
lifting weights? What are these little triggers we can pick up on that give us more information about you? And then we do a really deep dive on family history as much as we possibly can. So we have this conversation. It's a deep dive into your lifestyle. Then we bring you through a full suite of testing. So everybody in our group gets genetics, lab work, DEXA scan, and DO2 max. And then, like I said, we have access to over 100 different tests,
Right.
basically everything. And we will pick and pull based on what you need from our initial conversation.
Yeah.
So if we have a retired NFL athlete coming in and they've had a lot of concussions and untreated TBI injuries, then we're
Hmm.
going to get them a brain MRI, some imaging around volumetrics, and a lot of other things around the brain. Somebody like me, I probably won't pay a ton of attention because I
Right.
recently had an MRI around my brain, so I wouldn't need one. So where we pay extra attention to? So
Hmm.
it's a personalized test and approach, and then we take all that data from
Hmm.
the setting the foundations call that we had that's all on your lifestyle and all the data we got back from the testing. So we know everything going on externally and
Cool.
internally in your body, and we build you out a roadmap over the next year on
Love
what
that.
is possible. And we
Hmm.
focused on the biggest clinical areas of opportunity that we need to improve on.
Wow.
And we also sit down and think with our patients is they're not really here for a 1 year journey. We bill on an annual cycle. It's an annual membership, but we want them to start thinking about what does 75 look like for you? And what
Yeah.
does 80 look like for you? Because we need to start training for that today. It doesn't just happen at a flick of a switch, but that's
Right.
the finish line we're looking for of, hey,
Hmm.
you worked your whole life, you finally have money, you can finally
Right.
travel, you can do all the things you want to do,
Right.
but most people are either dead or sick
Hmm.
at 75 and don't have the ability to do these things when they actually have the
Right.
freedom and the time.
Right. Right.
So that's what we shift the mindset with thinking with our patients.
I love that. That's I think I should be, you know. I really do hope that as people get to listen to this that they would just be challenged by what you just said, like you worked your whole life, you can travel now, but you're sick. I don't understand. And then in a way, it's the American dream of like work towards retirement and they get to travel the world, but by the time that they're retired, their life is miserable. Every time I'm on a Stairmaster, I remind myself, I am doing this for my 80-year-old self. I'm
Yeah.
limiting my heart rate up and just testing new boundaries. Granted, I don't know if I'll ever do a triathlete or an Ironman. Kudos to you for that. But and also the women's body is completely different than the men's body.
Mhm.
But that it's just cool that you're just being challenged by that. Cool. What does like a typical day look like for you? How do you personally like live this out?
Yeah, I'll give you my ideal day. That probably happens 4 days a week because I don't think if anybody says they do the same thing every day, they're either one of one or they're lying to you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
About 4 to 5 days a week, I always start with movement. I'm like I said, I'm in marathon training right now, so it's typically getting a run in. I have a run workout in, and I'll do it with my coach. And even if it's 30 minutes and it's a really stressful day, maybe it's not a key workout day, I have to get 30 minutes of movement in. Most of the time, it's between an hour and a half. So
Okay.
I train before I do anything else. And like I said, that anchors my day. And then I stack in some kind of recovery and fuel. Um, and then following that, work really blocks the rest of the day. Right now, just busy building human sync and being very busy with lab lots as well, shooting commercials. But the real key, I would say, is structure. Like I plan my days and plan my weeks out. So just like in training for a race, I know when I'm pushing hard and I know when I need to pull back. And
Yeah.
again, like when I got to build in family time, when I need to recover as a non-negotiable, like we are in our peak weeks for marathon training right now. So I know the 2 taper weeks, I'm gonna have to be spending a lot more time on recovery. So I'm already thinking about, okay, like how can I shave out an extra hour every day for recovery and what needs to be thought about ahead of time so I don't
Yeah.
get to those taper weeks and think, okay, it's time to get an IV, it's time to get in the compressor
Right.
boot, it's time to get a massage, time to go to physical therapy. No, I need to start booking that stuff right now.
Right.
I don't have great balance. I will tell you that. I have terrible balance, but also I think a lot of successful people don't have great balance. We don't really work in an hourly system. We work till the job's done and then we shift. So I don't think I have a lot of great balance, but I focus in sprints
Yeah.
and I focus on filling all the buckets in my life.
Okay.
So right now it's clearly in a performance block. It's in a build and performance block, and it's going to be this way till the end of the year. And I've been working incredibly long days and hours. And Jenny, my wife, is very aligned on that. She understands, like, hey, he's on a mission. But middle of December hits, right around Christmas time, like we're going to take 2 weeks to really pull back, 2.5
Yeah.
weeks to really pull back. And that's like kind of my balance. It's like it's not balance on a daily basis, but we have a job to achieve before the end of the year. We're gonna work as hard as we can to achieve that. And
Yeah.
then we're gonna pull back whenever that job's done.
I think even Tyler that's in full-time ministry, and just being here, I think that just applies with everything. There's just seasons where you have to sprint a lot and really focus. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I just think it's just, and you're passionate about it, and
Yeah.
you want to make people healthier and just challenge and make an imprint in the world, and leave a legacy. So I think that's great. I think that's so awesome. I know you talked earlier about your habits, sleep, and training. So, like, what are some non-negotiables and routines that keep you grounded and just performing at a very high level?
Yeah. I know I already talked about it. And uh again, like I'm just gonna double down on it, but like sleep is so important to me. And I think it's really overlooked. We kind of had this hustle mentality that has been ingrained in our culture for the last 5 to 10 years. And I think it's very important to work hard. However, we can't like rehack our bodies. Like our bodies
Mm,
need rest.
yeah.
So, I kind of see it as, well, I can only work as hard and efficiently if I give my body proper rest.
Yeah.
So I like even just hours, like hours is important, but I've really gone heavy on how can I improve my quality of sleep? So doing all these different triggers and routines to try to increase HRV and increase quality
Yeah.
of sleep and deep sleep and REM sleep and all these metrics around sleep. Again, like there's so much good data out there with a Whoop band or Garmin or Aura Ring that we can track this stuff now. And they have 8 sleep out there now that can control temperatures of your
Yes.
mattress. Those are
Yes.
cool. So
Yeah. Do you have one?
I don't yet, but I'm looking into it. They're kind of expensive.
I
Looking
know.
into it.
I have a
S-
friend who has one in Tampa, and he swears by that thing. Him and his
yeah,
wife.
we've got a
I
couple
should
patients with
introduce
them.
you to, because he's gonna be on the podcast too, and he has like a discount code, like a $500 or something
Oh,
crazy.
okay, yeah, sign me up. That
So
man's
yeah,
soliciting.
I'll have to introduce you.
Yeah,
Anyway,
those things are great. We've got a couple patients with them right now. But sleep
great.
is really important. And again, like these are hours that I'm not going to get back in my day. So I want to think about is if I can only get 7 hours, if I can only get 7.5 hours, how can I make sure that 7 hours is optimized?
Right.
Because I like duration of sleep. Now that we've built a longevity medicine clinic, we have an incredible data team that can just take in all this research around length of sleep is not always that important.
Mm,
Quality of sleep is really what the
mm.
most important is. So we have guys in our program that will never sleep more than 6 hours a night. Just
Wow.
their lifestyle does not work that way.
Wow. Wow.
And it's one of the sacrifices they make. But we've
Yeah.
been able to optimize that 6 hours
Yeah.
to where they wake up feeling incredible.
Awesome.
Inflammation is down.
Wow.
Markers are looking great. They wake up energized and refreshed. And that's just an adjustment of everything else throughout the day that we need to be accountable for.
Yeah.
So sleep is really important. And then, like I talked about, that as my foundation.
Mhm.
The second piece, doubling down again, is training. Like that is
Yeah.
everything to me. That is what keeps me sharp. That's what pushes me day in, day out.
Mm.
And like I said, these things are not optionable for me. And training is really where I like to push my limits.
Mm.
That's what really builds a lot of motivation in my life as I start to achieve these things with my body physically that I never thought were possible or that seem like such a long reach
Right.
that when I achieve those things, I start to build momentum. And when I have momentum, I start ticking off these things in life that I never thought were possible.
Wow, so cool. I love
Yeah.
that.
So
It
those
is
are the
such a
anchors.
mindset. Yeah, this is truly a mindset, and I love that, again, it's simple, it's not I take, even though you might vitamin D every day and I have to go ground and I have to circadian. It's just very simple. It's very back to basics, and I think that's how God created our bodies.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, people pay a lot of money for our membership, and we have 100% satisfaction rate. People have already signed up for multi years in our
I love
membership. We
that.
just started 6 months ago, but 80% of our program is very, very simple basics that you can do for free.
That's great.
It's movement, it's eating a whole foods based diet,
Yeah.
it's working on sleep, it's mindset and readiness, it's really controlling your environment and taking time for yourself. And then the 20% is all the sexy interventions and incredible protocols we do
Mhm.
to just sharpen every single system in the
Right.
body.
Right.
Brain health, immune health, metabolic health, cardiovascular health. And that's what helps us really give us a compass on how can we make this patient age disease free.
Love that. That's so great. So, what advice would you give to somebody who, I don't know, like it's in the early 20s, kind of feels stuck and doesn't know where to start, you know?
I think that whenever I take this approach is I just have to go in knowing that I'm probably going to be embarrassed a little bit.
Mm,
Um,
wow.
because I won't know. I'm going to fail. Like I'm going to fail. And as soon as I let that go, I have a lot of freedom. So going into something knowing that I am the lowest in the totem pole, I know absolutely nothing and
Wow.
knowing I have absolutely nothing to lose and just explore it for an entire year and commit a time block because I'm going to go full on for an entire year
Right.
to learn as much as I can.
So
And then
good.
if I hate it and I'm not interested, then I'm going to go
Yeah.
try something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
like letting go of that fact of like we aren't supposed to have it all
Right.
figured out. And we see some of the biggest players in the game, like one of our clients is probably worth, north of $500 million net worth. And he tells us all the time, is like, look, I have no idea what I'm doing, but
Mm.
I'm just in the game long enough
Hmm.
and I've found a way to figure it out.
Yeah.
And when somebody that financially successful in business tells you that, it's like, okay, well, everyone out here is just trying to figure it out.
Yes.
So just have the confidence to go in and say, hey, look,
Yeah.
I have no idea what the heck I'm doing, but I'm willing to learn. I'm going to absorb like a sponge and I'm
Yeah.
going to continue learning. I
Yeah.
think that's so important.
That's so good. And I think when me creating this podcast at the beginning, I had this idea of this podcast 4 years ago. And I was like, there's too many podcasts out there. And like 2025, you want to stand out. There's so many wellness podcasts and health, and they're doctors, people who have more degrees than a thermometer. And I think I just got so caught up in like, how can I be different? Tyler just really encouraged me. I'm like, just do it. And if you fail and
Hmm.
if you hate it, you quit. Like, and again, the whole goal of this podcast is whoever is listening that they will take what you're saying and just have a conversation with somebody else and ask how can we be more healthy, how can we just elevate our lifestyle is with very simple practices, not super complicated. And honestly, I'm like fired up. I'm gonna go and sign up to a marathon and be like, it's very 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 basic. And I do notice, so the whole going back to the whole sleep thing, I notice that when I don't have a good night of sleep, my mood, for my energy, to my hunger levels. Why am I eating, just snacking all day long? And it, again, quality of sleep. So we sleep 69, 70 degrees every night, pitch black, and invested in a lot of these things because I want to live a long life, and not just a long
Hmm.
life, but I want to live a healthy life for my future children. I am so fixated that for the rest of my life, I want to build generational health and just create a legacy based off that. And honestly, based out of generational health, the wealth will come, like it'll just happen out of a byproduct.
Mm.
Thank you so much for really sharing all your knowledge.
Yeah.
Tyler, all the time, I'm like, did you see Brad? We literally brag so much about you and our friends here who will consider themselves runners. And I'm like, did you see Brad in his Strava? Like 20 miles, like that is insane.
You all
So
are great. Yeah. I know we miss you all. We need to hang out soon. But no, I
yeah.
mean, just to motivate you and encourage you, like the smartest people I've seen in the health space are not doctors.
Oh,
Doctors are great. They're trained in one formula. They're trained in one system, but
mm,
they are not the smartest people when it comes to the human body.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there may be some doctors that are, but in the grand scheme of things, like we've worked with 50 plus physicians, and I would
Wow,
say our coaches know a lot more about guiding and
wow.
accountability and adjustment than physicians do. And I think nurse practitioners do an incredible job of that as well. I think it's just the system that they're trained on. And
Hmm.
um, yeah, just going back to one more thing I think I would tell people is looking back at is winning the morning is so important with
Yes.
us and our patients is winning the morning. Even if you're not an early riser, it's just like, how do you
Mhm.
spend that first hour? Because
Yes.
we want to be in attack mode. And if we wake up, we're looking at our phone and we're letting everything just hit us at once, you open up your emails, you're going to be in reactive mode the whole day, just trying to play defense. So if
Yeah.
you really set up that first hour to anchor yourself and take time for you, I
Yeah.
think that's going to adjust your perspective, your mindset, how you're going to approach everything throughout the day. So the
So
importance of just taking time for you, at least the first hour, don't pick up the phone. spend some time to get in a positive mental environment, and then move your body and fuel your body properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
think
love
that's really important.
That's great. I'm loving you're speaking my language. All right. So for the last couple questions, we have rapid fire
Yeah.
questions. So whatever comes to mind.
All right.
All right. So are you a morning person or a night owl?
I'm a 9 owl.
Okay. Coffee or matcha?
You're gonna
Or
hate me,
neither?
but neither. Yeah, I'm not a huge caffeine guy. If I were to say one, it's coffee. Yeah, I'm
It's
not a matcha
coffee.
fan.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really sad, but okay. All right. Book that changed your life.
Book that changed my life. Start with Why was great.
Mm.
I read that one in a pivotal time. Jocko's book, I think it's Leadership Habits. It's something I forgot the name of it, but that book was really tactical. There's a book called Traction that I've developed some great system. I'm giving you multiple books right
No,
now,
yeah,
so
this is
that's bad
great.
rep. Book called Traction that gave us a lot of principles and practices to implement in our
Yeah.
business to help us systemize things. That was really important.
Oh,
Um, Gosh, there's a lot of really
many.
good. I think Jocko's called Leadership Tactics and Skills. I gotta look that one up to make sure that's the right title, but great read.
Okay, I'll definitely have to look into that. And then your favorite app you can live without.
Strava, of course. Strava.
I love that. Was a quick one.
Strava's my social media of choice. Yeah.
I love that. It sounds like we need to get on that. I'll tell you this, when we moved to Arkansas, it's the one thing that I don't love, but it was a lack of finding a good gym. So with the Orange Theory, and I hate running, like you will never see me running. I would rather do burpees for a whole hour
Yeah,
than
yeah.
run. But I developed this like weird passion for running because Tyler was a super athlete when he plays in my professional soccer. So this
Yeah.
man is a gazelle. He can run for hours and he'll be fine. And I'm just here trying to compete, and I'm like 5 foot nothing, and he's like, so I get it. Maybe definitely do a Strava at some point. All right,
Strava's social media of choice for sure.
I love that. Okay, and then how do you describe your leadership style?
I'm a visionary.
Love that.
Yeah. I can dream very big and get the buy-in for people to do that. I have had to learn a lot more about management. That is not my strong suit, but as a leader, that comes with it. So I'm a great visionary. I'm a great visionary, and
Love
I
it.
can get people to really think big. I think that's my strong suit.
So cool. Well, it's in the Bible, like people without vision perish,
Hmm.
and you can apply that principle to anywhere in the world. Cool. Well, that's all I have for you. As I said, I respect and admire you. Number one fan. Tyler and I are always girl fanning over to you and Jenny. You guys are truly so awesome. And we'd love to like hang out sometime, come visit
Yeah,
you.
yeah, we
Um,
miss you all.
I know it's kind of hard for me to go back to Louisville, because I'm like, what's in Louisville?
Yeah, not much here.
Just a lot to run. But thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you. And then, Brett, how can people find you? How can people find Human Sync? Where can we find you?
Yeah, go to humansync.com, human SYNC. You can find us on social media too, Human Sync Health. We're not on Facebook, I don't think, but Instagram, YouTube, Spotify for our podcast. And then my tag, I think, is just Brad Pierce _. Again, I'm
Okay.
not like a huge social media guy, so I kind of had to rethink that.
Yeah,
Find me on
totally.
Strava, Brad Pierce.
There
I
you
think
go.
it is. There you go.
Okay. Try to compete with him, guys. You'll be very humble, I'll tell you that. Awesome. Thank you so much, Brad. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you nothing but the best, and just keep changing the world like you've always had been. And I'm sure our listeners will be encouraged and